channel. This is my Atlanta vlog, y'all. I'm going to Atlanta for 2 conferences. My flight is delayed. It is 10:30. My flight was supposed to take off at 10:17, but now it's like 10:45, 11. I don't know, all the flights have been delayed, and yes, I'm still wearing a mask on the plane. I can't believe my edges. My edges have not been standing a chance in this heat. Honestly, I'm gonna have to put so much gel on them tomorrow, y'all. So much gel, I swear I'm gonna put so much gel on them. So I'm going to the Fearless Fun conference, and I got invited to go to the Black and E-commerce conference. So I'm going to be literally hopping Ubers, going back and forth, and I'm really excited. It's a time to connect. I brought so many So.Fashionable cards, y'all. We about to be selling So.Fashionable on the corner, okay? On the corner is what we're doing, okay? So I'm really excited. I wish that I can get on my flight and be there. Like, I hate delayed flights. I swear I do. And then Evan is picking me up, y'all. But I don't know what time my plane is going to actually get there. Guess we're going to see. And I brought just a weekend bag, so everything that I'm wearing in the bag, that's it. I ain't have no room for no extra outfits. Okay, well, let's see what time I land in Atlanta, y'all, because I'm getting sleepy. Actually sleepy. I just got to the airport. First off, they put us on the wrong side. My plane came in early, but yet, look at my edges, y'all. Tomorrow we're gonna have to try this again with these edges because baby boy. Anyways, they let us out on the wrong side. Atlanta's airport is huge. They have one side all closed off. So like, I don't understand. I'm talking to my vlog, Evan. And Evan is lost. She's supposed to come pick me up, but she's lost because they made us come out on the like opposite side. It's like so crazy. Like, I don't even know what's going on, y'all. And it's at 1 a.m. in the morning, okay? And I'm sleepy. Like, I'm gonna go to bed. So let's wait for Evan. And I'm gonna put so much gel on my edges, y'all. It's not gonna make no sense. Y'all see me in the morning because I'm a professional girl. My edges can be looking like this. I'm telling people about So.Fashionable. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's wait for Evan. And yes, I'm glad I wore my mask on the plane because so many people were coughing, y'all. Get someone else to do it because what? So many people were coughing. So many. Like some of the worst parking.
This is the largest airport in the United States.
Is it really?
Yes, this is the largest.
Bigger
airport.
than LAX?
Yes, this is the largest airport in the United States. But I think the configuration of it sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
So I get so stressed out coming over here.
Like, how do you fly?
No cars. Usually it's way too many cars.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you even do this? Because this is crazy.
Here, if you have TSA, it's fine.
Where do you park? Do you park it here or you just take an Uber?
Nah, I don't park here because my parents live so close. I park at my parents' house, or I take them my car so they can use it for the weekend, and my dad will just drop me off.
Good morning, guys. Today I am going to all of these conventions. Y'all, I woke up late. So first I'm going to Fearless Fun, and then I'm going to go to Black and E-commerce. I look so cute. Very professional, very so fashionable. All right, y'all. So like, we gotta go because like I said, I'm already late. Y'all, I have a stack of So.Fashionable cards that I'm going to get rid of by the end of the day. Some people about So.Fashionable. Look how cute this is. I did a good job, I know. I'm gonna get rid of all of these by the end of the day. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm in the Uber on the way to Fearless Fun in the streets of Atlanta. Luckily, Evan looks literally so close to where this event is. So it makes it easy access. Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, so they just started, so you can grab your bag. When you enter, they'll give you your bag of all of the products. Enjoy your day.
I'm so excited, y'all. We got a bag, but they're starting, so let's go.
don't know the full history, when we set out to start the Fearless Fund, we thought we were creating a $5 million concept fund and we were going to take the world by storm. And let me tell you today, we have a Fund 1 that's $26 million. We've invested in more than 40 companies. We have a foundation. We've awarded over 300 grants and $3 million to amazing entrepreneurs such as you. And let me just tell you, we need so many more Fearless Funds and so many more investors that look like us to drive the change that we're driving. But we are living proof that if you have an idea, a crazy little idea, that you truly, truly can change the world.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Sorority ties, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, to just being a Black woman who wakes up each and every day, sometimes feeling like you have a boulder tied to your back. And you feel as if you are carrying and shouldering communities literally on your back. Even before I knew these women, I knew these women. We knew each other. I knew their hearts. I knew their motivations. I knew the communities they came from and the communities that they were seeking to serve. So during my term as mayor, when the Metro Atlanta economy was ranked as the 10th largest economy in the United States, the 25th largest in the world. With over 75% of Fortune 1000 companies having a presence in Atlanta. When we had the opportunity to put into action those words that Atlanta influences everything, then we did. That's when we supported the Fearless Fund. Investing in these leaders who are truly making a difference, working to decrease the racial wealth gap, to support businesses, to support women in communities who look like ours. Now I must confess, I was a journalism major in college, so when you start talking about VCs and funds and all that stuff, I had to do a little research. But they had me at community. And by investing in the Fearless Fund, we were able to put into action that creed where we believe in Atlanta that we truly are the cradle of the civil rights movement. That we
marked down already.
I am happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, because we are far and few between, but we are going to change that. And that's why we're here to talk to you guys today. We are Black female investors, and we need more women in general and more women of color to do exactly what it is that we do.
Absolutely we do. This is literally the most good-looking conference audience I've ever seen. Never. I have never seen an audience that looks as good as this. My goodness.
Well, thank you for being here.
I'm very happy to be here. It's my first time in Atlanta.
So tell me, oh,
Yeah, I know.
we gotta show you
I'm
the
looking
A.
forward to lunch.
We gotta show you the A. But I want us to get into, how did you first become an investor?
Well, you know, I think, first of all, I've been a founder, right? So for the last 15 years, I've been starting businesses and, closing businesses. I've done everything in between, made all the mistakes, that's for sure. But I think I really came at it from a founder's perspective, first and foremost. I know how difficult it was to raise finance for my own businesses. And so it kind of stands to reason that I would take the opportunity after making some money to invest in other people. And it was really just that naive, I would come across friends or colleagues or people that were looking for funding and didn't know where to go. And so at some point you say, well, you know what, I feel like I'm going to back you. And so that was the first place. And then of course I've had a lot of opportunities since moving to the US. Loved it, I'm in season 3 of Shark Tank now, and of course, as most of you know, I'm the first Black woman to sit in that chair. It's been something, it's been so interesting to have that opportunity, because honestly for me, as an English woman, I was a little bit worried. I was like, that's not who they want to see. Like, they want to see an American black woman sit in that chair. And what was so incredible and speaks so much to the support of the community is that that wasn't my experience. Every black woman came out to support me. They were up in my DMs, they were cheering me on, and it was incredible, really incredible.
Beautiful. So everybody knows that you have done work with the Kardashians. That is not a secret.
That is no secret. I am out here, all up in the Kardashians.
So how did these types of opportunities knock on your door? I know there are people in the audience, they're like, okay, well, I don't have her connections. So how do you go about building those types of connections?
Well, the first thing to say is where I come from, I didn't have any connections either. I come from East London. I didn't know anyone who even owned their own business growing up. Where I come from, you all worked a job, and you didn't work a job because you felt passionate about it. You worked a job to pay your bills. So that's the first thing to say. I am completely self-made and a self-starter. So I started working. Because I know you all think, sitting here with this accent, you're like, she must come from somewhere. No, I did not. I dropped out of school when I was 15 years old, and I truly worked my way up. I loved fashion, and so I started to just assist and intern, and I really got my contacts from the shop floor up. So I was out here assisting stylists and then working with small fashion designers. And then I landed my first job at a fashion production company. And that's really where I started to build my contact base. And honestly, people ask where I got my start, but I got my start because I felt like I wasn't being remunerated well enough where I was. And I thought, well, no one's gonna pay me what I want, so maybe I can pay myself. And I started my first business when I was 24 years old, and it was an agency that connected talent and brands. And essentially, I really started that from the ground up. It was me on my own. The first person I hired, I paid more than I paid myself. And so over 10 years of running that business, I really built up the contacts, the agents, the managers, the publicists, and, really, I guess it was very, very grassroots. And if you're in entertainment marketing and you don't know Kris Jenner, you're probably not working very much. And so that's where that contact came from. And honestly, what I did was create unbelievable value for other people all the time, for my clients, for the Calvin Kleins and the Dior's. And I just decided it was about time for me to create value for myself. So I took everything I knew, and essentially that, connectivity with Hollywood, and decided that I would start my own brand. And I pitched it just like anyone else. I pitched it to Kris Jenner. I said, hey, here's something for Chloe. Would she be interested? And lo and behold, she said, yeah. She was like, why don't you come and, meet her? And that was that. I was off to the races. It was a punt, a chance, I don't know. It worked.
So what I want the audience to take away from that is be willing to ask.
Yeah.
Definitely be willing to ask. Because she was like, all I did was just ask.
Yeah, it's true. And you know what? I feel like leverage is another thing that's so key, right? I was coming from a place of intrinsically understanding the link between how talent can really accelerate brands. So I essentially took my job and what I'd been doing for the last 10 years and leveraged it into something that was one step further, but not too far removed. And so I had a basis of understanding, a basis of contacts and contracts. I really knew how that world worked, making a leap of faith. And I think about it all the time because I feel like so many people, certainly in my career, were like, Emmy, you should stay in your lane. And I think it's every time I've chosen not to stay in my lane that I've taken like really meaningful leaps towards things that I wanted to do and I think are important.
I can attest to that. Anytime I have not stayed in my lane, I cause myself more chaos than needed. Tell us about some of your mistakes.
Ooh, how long you got? Well, it's a really good question because I think that I have made so many mistakes. So with my first business that I started when I was 24, I made all the classic founder mistakes. Underinvested, brought the wrong people into the business, wasn't so happy with my investment partners. I was very successful in London, and with all of that bravado that you have in your 20s, I was like, well, I can open an office anywhere. I opened in New York, it was great. I opened in LA, I failed failed miserably. And so I feel like I've kind of done those classic founder mistakes, but actually it's one of the key things that I look for when I'm investing in new founders. I want you to not just have a track record, but I'm happy when you failed, because I am looking for people that can learn from their mistakes. It's one of the key, most critical things that I think about when I meet a founder. It's like, did they make mistakes and have they learned from them? Because we all make mistakes. If you ain't making mistakes, you ain't in the game. Like, you're not doing enough. So I actually embrace all of them as long as you can learn from them. And I've got a long list of learnings.
When you talk about what,
right, it's like there's one thing where you're like, oh, I'd really like to start this business. Like, how are you getting there? And so I really enjoy when I get a founder who has figured out their why, but they really know their how. And without the two things, you ain't going anywhere.
is there anything within the deal? So you're saying, are you truly just betting on the person?
Yeah, but look, it really depends. How much am I betting? Let me tell you. When you make your own money, I'm not investing anybody else's money. So I'm very careful about where I put my money. So I would honestly say that as for deal structures, the types of deals I do are far and wide. It's really much more about the founder. Now, if I'm putting an enormous amount of money into something, of course, I'm looking at the business, I'm looking at the space, I'm looking at the history and the numbers and everything like that. But there's no pre-prescribed way that I come into a deal structure. And I think one of the key things is really understanding, like, where am I in this? Like, what does the founder need from me? If somebody's looking for someone to usher them through the daily kind of mechanics of their business, that's not for me, because I run 3 companies and I have 4 children and I have a big life, and so I'm not there for that. But if you need someone as a mentor and you need somebody to, really be there to guide you through certain processes, and I know where I'm really strong, then that's for me. So I think that I would say I'm a great investor to have if you are a self-starter and you have a very clear vision and you know exactly what you want. I'm not the person that's like in the operations day to day. That's not where my strengths are.
Gotcha. So what does that look like, that process, one, of investing in somebody's business? And do you just invest in women of color? Do you invest in everybody? I want to talk about that and get into that for the audience to know what building generational wealth looks like.
So I'm really, really happy that you mentioned that question, actually. So for me and my own portfolio, I've invested in all sorts of businesses from all sorts of founders. And one of the things that I think we get tripped up sometimes, and I don't want to be the unpopular person on the chair today, but bear with me.
I got your back.
Thank you. When we talk about diversity, I no sooner want a board full of white men than I do a board full of black women. What's key here is the diversity. What we know as an absolute fact is that homogenous teams, so teams that look exactly the same, don't do as well as diverse teams. And when we're building businesses, what I always say to black founders is build a business that can scale outside of your own community. Now, think about your community first, by all means, but I need you to sell to white people, to Asian people, to Latinas, to the whole gambit. Because if you really are about building generational wealth, to do that with one narrow community in mind doesn't make the best business sense. So I really encourage all founders to try to have the broadest possible audience possible. That's why I make underwear in 9 shades. That's why I make jeans in 17 sizes, because I'm not trying to go like, this is my narrow expectation of a customer. And so I really would say to any founder of colour, and by the way, I would say my own portfolio is 85% women of colour. But that doesn't mean to say when I think about their board complexions and when I advise them about other people to come onto their cap table, I really want that to be truly, truly diverse. And that means people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, because there are so many different types of investors. You get the money guys, you get the operational guys, you get the strategic guys, you get the guys with like very, very specific areas of expertise, and you need all of that. You don't need one thing of anything, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
You said that 85 business as well too, and that founder is here. But we wanted to talk to you about what is this experience like for you having black women on your cap table?
So my journey started off bootstrapping Range Beauty. So that's using my money from my 9 to 5, from my savings, to get range off the ground. And I can tell you right now, I would not be where I am today without these two women being on my cap table. When you're, please. When you're a founder like myself, who you have these Zoom calls and you're mostly meeting with white men who basically what you're saying is going in one ear and out the other. They're not understanding the problem you're solving. They're not understanding the demographic you're going after. It takes a special type of investor who believes in the founder first, and then what's to come next with traction financials. And that's important. I feel like when you have investors who look like you, they understand everything that comes with what you're building versus the other way around. So I applaud them for getting me to where I am.
I would say yes, definitely. You know, I think that we've never been in a more difficult climate for founders and indeed for investors. And I think that the biggest thing that's affecting our kind of like our world right now is the pace of change. If you go back to last year, the year before, everyone was running around trying to figure out what NFTs and what cryptocurrency to, you know, get involved in. And now we're all sitting there going, well, why? Why was that? You know, you look at it this year and I'm trying to force everybody in my office to get onto some kind of AI platform and figure out how they integrate AI into their work. So I honestly believe that the pace of change is the biggest thing that is a threat to founders right now. And let's be honest, the D2C bubble has well and truly burst, right? All of those changes that we saw and the way that businesses were able to connect to customers in the last 6 years has fundamentally changed. And so I have definitely started to look at businesses that have a more 360 approach, meaning that they don't just focus on direct to consumer, they're thinking about wholesale, they're thinking about retail, they're thinking about everything more thoroughly. But it also comes back to this idea of market share, right? So I always tell all of my founders, really think about the market in the most broadest way possible and don't start off with a narrow viewpoint. And so I definitely am more attracted to founders that I believe are thinking about the world, not just the US and not just one very narrow demographic.
One thing I can say,
Or CPG, what would you be looking for?
I don't want to say this too loudly. I won't be looking for a fashion brand. Let me be honest, I think that we're in the middle of, you know, a kind of recessionary environment, right? And I think with any investor, what you have to think about are opportunities for exit, right? And I honestly think about this with all of the founders that I work with, because if you take someone's money, 9 times out of 10 they are not supporting you because, you know, for the love. They're looking for a return somewhere down the line. And the acquisition market has quite honestly gone to, thank you for the noise. I don't want to swear in front of everyone, but you know, it's very, very difficult out there. I think what is really happening right now is that we're seeing the consumer market start to kind of tick up again. And so I would almost reframe the question and I'd be like, you know what? I wouldn't be looking for fashion. I think commodity businesses are amazing. Like when you're in stuff that everybody needs, bras, knickers, Skims, underwear, basic blue jeans, that stuff is recession proof. I saw that during COVID firsthand and I was like, why are you buying blue skinny jeans? But she was, you know, because it's seen as a purchase that's a forever thing. So I'd much sooner see a commodity type business if I wasn't investing in fashion than something that's truly rooted in the cycles and the seasonality of fashion.
and I would say for our portfolio, just the need for discourage. We're also in tech, we're heavy fintech SaaS marketplace, but I'm not looking for just the next makeup line. I need something disruptive. I'm not looking for the next, fintech company. I'm like, okay, how disruptive is this? Like, you're looking for something that is truly going to change the trajectory of how people perceive their lives, how people live, how people work. It has to be extremely disruptive right now, of course, with this market correction for us to take a look and say, you know what? We can bet on it.
There you go.
Scarcity culture, right? Like, she has this, so I won't have that, and it is BS. The more we can share, and I'm talking like meaningful share, our lawyers, people who've invested in us, this stuff is really, really key, and I feel like what we have to do is make sure that when we have great contacts, when we have great things that happen in our business, that we're passing that stuff on. And it doesn't happen nearly enough. We have to stop talking and start actually doing. So if there's one thing I could get out of today, it would be to encourage everyone to share. You can hit me up, you can ask me for something, I'll give it to you.
Company are you giving away to these outside investors? So doing your homework is critical on that, and making sure that you understand the control implications of what it means to take outside money. The types of money available to you as a founder are going to vary based on the stage of your company, based on the conditions of the market, and even based in some cases on the region in which you're growing and scaling your startup. Navigating this path as a founder requires you to really understand who the players are and what kind of capital is available for you at each stage of your business. And that tells you.
Okay, y'all, so I just left Fearless Fun. I'm gonna come back. Emma agreed. One day, y'all, I can't wait till she's my mentor, because she is a phenomenal lady. She said some good things. I had to record her whole part. I am running to Black e-commerce because I am supposed to be there as well. And honestly, this is just amping me up, because there's so many things that I need to be doing for my business and making it recession proof. And yeah, so I'm currently in an Uber on my way to Black e-commerce. So let's see, y'all. This is really crazy that I'm doing this, but like anything, I'll do anything for the business. So okay, let's go. Okay, y'all, I'm finally here. I'm so late. Oh my gosh.
Right? And like, I understand that as well as a consultant too, because I want to make sure that if I'm putting all this time and energy into our strategy, it's gonna work. Right? So I always tell brands to think about it. Okay, if you want to attract this person, but you can't afford it, but you think they're going to bring a lot of added value. There's so many different new ways to implement partnerships with influencers, creators, and other brands. And one of my favorite ways that I always tell my brands, my clients, my colleagues, my people in my network, it's affiliate marketing. You know, it's the concept of, you know what, I would like you to, you know, be a part of my brand, to represent my brand, and what I'm going to do in exchange is give you a portion, a percentage of whatever you create that brings me sales, right? That's the basis of what affiliate marketing is. Because then you're able to assess as a business owner, okay, the actual ROI that I'm receiving. And with PR, that's really hard to do. To give the actual, you know, ROI. But having the option with, you know, platforms like ShareSell, where you can say, hey, I'm going to give anyone who signs up to be an affiliate for me 10%, 15%, 20%, and there are industry standards as well that you can always set the base with and then change. And then see what that happens. The best part about doing something like that is it's not just influencers that you can use those affiliate links for it. You can use them for publications. Most publications today, you gotta pay to play, right? You gotta spend some money to get something. It's very rare that you're gonna get organic placement unless you've got really good relationships with the media, or you've got this really fire idea that's like, oh my gosh, which I'm sure all of you do. But you know, you can always entice them more. Hey, Allure, hey GQ, I'm gonna give you 20% of these sales if you write this article. Boom, done. And then you can measure that link. That's trackable. You know, you get the click-through rate, the shares, all of the people, and you can see exactly how many sales you got from that influencer, that brand, that publication, and then you can assess whether that's a viable option for you. So sometimes you don't even really have to spend money, but you do have to offer some sort of incentive or entice them. Like Erica said, decide what you want as a brand. What is your goal? Is it to change a narrative? Is it to, you know, expand your audience, whatever it is? And then make sure everything you're doing is purposeful. Don't go knocking at, you know, the editor of British Vogue, Edward Enninful's, you know, DMs. He's not gonna answer you. Don't spam his account. He's not, no, you're gonna get blocked. So find a loophole, find a loophole. If your goal is to get into British Vogue, which is an incredible goal, and I believe every single one of you can do that, even if you don't want to be. But if you want to do that, make sure that you, one, have content and products that are Vogue worthy. So if you're setting your aspirations to be in every big publication, if you're setting your aspirations to be in every big influencer's, countertop or vanity or, a household product for them, you really got to make sure that you are, selling what is actually what you're telling people, You got to talk the talk, but you also got to walk the walk. Don't, because that's also how you shoot yourself in the foot. You don't want to burn that bridge. You don't want to knock on that door too quickly when also your brand isn't ready. That's okay. That's okay. You can always start little fires first, and then make one big fire, big noise. So that is what I would say, and I think Erica's got a lot more horror stories than I do.
I don't know about, I have horror stories, but I would say, really think about reporters as influencers. Because in essence, they are. They are influencers. And if anybody sat in on Felicia from Black Ambition's talk this morning, she talked about building relationships. And really, that's what it's about. It's about building relationships with reporters and not viewing it as a transaction. Please write about me, I'm gonna send my pitch, and then that's it. Really get to know the reporter that you're targeting. What is it that they write about? How do they write about it? What angle do they tend to take on it? What are some trends that they're covering? And how can you be a resource to them beyond just what you're offering, right? You all are experts in your business, in your industry. You're seeing trends, you're talking to customers every day, so you have a perspective to offer. So really think about how can you make yourself invaluable to that reporter. What can you offer them in terms of perspective, commentary, hey, I saw this story that you wrote, I thought it was really interesting, here's another perspective, or here's what I'm seeing. So that, the goal is, eventually they start coming to you because they know that you have a perspective that they can include in future stories. I think it's also important when you're pitching reporters to, really cut to the heart of what are you doing that's different? What problems are you solving for consumers? A lot of times we want to explain who we are up front and we want to give you all the details on why we're impressive and all these things, but reporters get hundreds of emails a day. And if you're thinking about the people in this room, if you're targeting an e-commerce reporter, a retail reporter, a fashion reporter, everybody in this room is reaching out to the same reporters. You're trying to get the same attention. So you have to get to the point really, really quickly. You have to focus on the problem that you're trying to solve. And just remember that PR is a long-term game. Building relationships is important because maybe the reporter doesn't have time to write about you right now, or whatever it is that you offer, your product, your service, doesn't fit into kind of what they're thinking about or covering right now. But 2 months from now, they could be working on something where you're a fit, right? I've worked on stories where I've been reaching out to reporters, talking to them, and a year later, a big story comes out, right? So it takes work, and it takes investment, and it takes patience, which sometimes we don't feel like we have. But if you build those relationships, they will pay off at the end. I love that. And so I know I mentioned because one of the most important things that I tell my clients, and that is the startup founders or the big brands, is make sure that your messaging is on point. Make sure that it is strong. Because I think it's one of the things where people sometimes don't put as much investment or effort into it as they need to, but if you think about it, you're communicating about yourself all day, every day in so many different ways. It's on your website, it's on your social channel, you're, in your pitch decks, you're talking about it to friends, potential employees, and you're constantly communicating about yourself. And so making sure that your messaging is as compelling as possible is the first step to setting the foundation for every other thing that you do. And so we go through a whole process with clients, but the heart of that is a litmus test that I would say to anybody, put your messaging through it. Is it compelling? Is it simple? Is it differentiated? Is it defensible, which is really important. If you're gonna say you're the best, you're the first, you're the only, you have to be able to defend that, right? And if the answer to any of those things is no, then I would definitely advise you to just revisit it. Like, how can you make your messaging stronger? And then on the influencer marketing side, the other thing I would say is really partner with these influencers. Again, it's not just a transaction, but especially if you're newer or if you're a smaller brand, like really bring them in, right? Like pay them, you know, or give them some incentive, but bring them in as a partner. Let them give you feedback and actually implement that feedback. You know, I think influencers want to feel invested in your success as well. So like give them the opportunity to contribute. And not only that, but then you get, you know, advice that you can really use to reach the customers that you're trying to.
So cool.
Shopify's team dedicated to Black entrepreneurs, and we craft resources, tools, programming, events, education to be able to amplify and elevate Black businesses.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're Black with Shopify.
Tell me about it.
Okay, this is the reason that I came to Black e-commerce. I won a free ticket. So please tell us about your business, who you are.
Hey y'all, I'm Adi Picola. I'm the creator of For All Things Digital. We're a small business resource platform where we help small businesses get access to marketing trends, to grants, to pretty much anything they need. This experience has been really dope. This is Black in e-com's very first year, and what I love about it is that it's very intimate. We don't really get a lot of conferences that are super intimate, so we're really able to like connect with brands, build our brands, learn so much. If you haven't already, day 1 and day 2 of the conference is free online. You can replay it. Make sure you hit them up on YouTube and watch the whole thing. So valuable. Like, you literally can't complain that we didn't give you a gem, right? So thank you so much, and I'm out.
Thank you. Y'all, I'm back in the Uber. Now I'm back on my way to Fearless Fun because I want to see some of those speakers. And yeah, the Black in e-commerce event, I'm gonna try to go back to tomorrow. But it's been, oh my gosh, learning so much. And I got reassured today that fashion and technology, like I've been thinking for So Fashionable and the way I'm trying to take it, it's a need for it, which means that I need to keep going. Period. So my vlog camera is gonna be burnt out by the end of the day, y'all, because I am recording. And then how about I got some stuff because I'm in the Black Shopify. I got this free book bag, y'all, and I forgot I'm on a flight and I can't even take it. Evan's gonna be mad. So yeah, I'm back in the Uber. My Uber chronicles at this point. But I just be feeling so powerful and just like so renowned because I just be wanting to be in the space, and like the learning and the connecting is all like what I'm trying to do. So yeah, okay, let's go back to Fearless Fun, y'all, because I need to connect with some of those women of color, and I'm excited and I'm super hungry, so I might just see what food they have there so I can buy something. Slutty Vegan is always around. The line is always so long, y'all. Oh my gosh, the line is so long. You want to tell us about your brand for the vlog?
Hi.
We are the Airbnb version of Sister Becca. Very clear. Helping Black women. We're the sisterhood, we are roommates, as well as we're the finances. We're splitting the finances by being roommates.
Nice. Where can we find you?
BlackGirlRoommate.com.
And are you on social media?
Yep, at Black Girl Roommate.
Nice. Okay, look out for Black Girl Roommate. Thank you.
So I'm Tiffany, founder of Lorraine Co. Lorraine Co. is a signature scent house where we tell stories via scent and of attention. So we have candles and room sprays based off of your attention needs. Cleanse, awaken, manifest, meditate, manifest, and dream. All of our products are non-toxic. They clarify the air, odor eliminators. We use all perfect ingredients, organic, natural ingredients. And then we're just like really, really big on telling stories. So if you see like the 5 girls here, they all represent the stories behind each scent and how they self-care.
Nice. And where can we find you?
You can find us online at www.lorrayco.com, and that's LORRAYCO.com. We are based in Atlanta, but we are predominantly e-commerce at the moment.
And then are you on any social media?
We're on Instagram and Facebook at LorrayCo. So you can find us there, as well as TikTok. You can find us on TikTok at LorrayCo.
Thank you so much.
Hi Adam, my name is Farrell. I am the founder and CEO of Comma Club Community. I'm a real estate broker, developer, and investor, and I coach people to buy property. No matter your income, no matter your education level, no matter your age, no matter whatever concerns you have, I teach people to buy property and to build wealth through real estate. I wrote a book. It's called We Must Own. Come on up here. Right here, We Must Own, and it is all about the steps that you need to take to practically actually buy property. It's not like a bunch of garbage. It's going to take you through what types of properties are available, the strategies to invest, what you need to do to get your finances together, your credit together, how to approach banks, how to raise equity. And get this, women represent only 1% of leaders in commercial real estate. So it's important here at Fearless that we get this message. We must own.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And then where can we find you at?
You can find me at the Comma Club Community. So that is here. Comma, like the commas between a million and a billion. Comma Club Community. You can find me on Instagram or commaclubcommunity.com.
Nice. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pauline, founder of The Catalog, and I provide fragrance oils, perfume oils for men and women. They last longer on your skin, they're alcohol-free, they contain no parabens, and they're great for sensitive skin. I have a total of 12 in my collection. Here are just some of my best sellers. I have things for men, for women, for older ladies, younger men, older gentlemen. If you like a sweet, a fresh, a floral, a fruity, I have a set for you. So check out The Catalog.
And then where can we find you?
You can find me online at thecatalog.com, the Mall of Georgia, in between Sales and Abercrombie Kids. It's a beautiful little kiosk, and you can also shop on the website as well.
Any social media?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at @dcatalog and TikTok on at @dcatalog.
No, that's good. That's good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
This is the newest line. This is the avocado tamino line. This is the anti-frizz line. It's a whole system. It's 5 bottles. On the back of this card, it educates you on the products. It's for the curly girl and the straight hair girl. And it is the refrigerate to activate.
Wow.
So when you're getting ready, put it in the refrigerator for about an hour. Take it out and use it. If you want to have your hair straight, you use the straightening serum.
Wow.
Cold, it helps take the frizz out of your hair. The curl defining cream is in here, and when you put it in your hair, rake your hair, don't comb your hair, and then the curls will bounce even better.
Wow.
an amazing line for both the curly girl and the straight hair.
This just came out?
Yes.
Wow.
It's in the stores already, so it's ready for you to go out and purchase. And on the website.
You heard her.
Okay.
Purchase the new line. Oh, nice. And we know avocado is very, very popular right now in hair care.
And the Tamanu is extra special.
Yes. Oh, I love this. All right, you heard it. We gotta go to Mael. Okay.
Oh, you better say it right, girl. Mael.
To Mael. You know we love Mael. Thank you.
It takes money to make money. So when we talk about an exit and getting the right multiple and making the millions and millions and millions of dollars, you know, you have to hire experts to get you the best deal. And I can't tell you how much money we spent when Yardstick went to market.
Millions.
Yeah, millions of dollars. And people would say, and we've seen entrepreneurs who didn't go that route, who just relied on, relationships, or let me introduce you to this person, and they got shortchanged. So when you want to get top dollar for the business that you put the blood, the sweat, the tears into, that means you've got to spend money to make that money. And for us, that paid huge dividends.
So education and access are really crucial for entrepreneurs making these informed decisions. I want to ask you about how organizations and initiatives support entrepreneurs from marginalized communities in gaining knowledge and resources for, the necessary for successful acquisitions. How do they find the resources and how do they help?
I can tell you, we weren't fortunate enough to have the good folks here at the Fearless Fund.
Yeah.
But we did. We went through the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. We did the NMSDC, MBE. We worked with TechScale. We actually wrote the book on supplier diversity in partnership with TechScale. So those programs are super helpful. What so many entrepreneurs of color often do is we limit ourselves at the gate. We stop at, only me. But why? That white dude didn't only me. And that's a really important thing when we think about creating our businesses.
Yeah.
Because we really have to get out of the mindset that I can only grow to so much. And we talk about proximity and all of that. These programs help you get around very successful entrepreneurs. And like a woman who inspired me when I did the Goldman Sachs program, she had the most unattractive business of everybody. She was doing 30+ million in revenue, 10+ million in EBITDA 10 years ago. And all she did, she had single manhole sewer contracts for every state in the Southeast.
Wow.
She did sewer covers.
Wow.
That's amazing. I'm speechless. So obviously, sometimes diversifying is key, other times having
and work across multiple industries. Like I'll tell you, my firm, we built our firm with negative $300,000 net worth.
What?
Oh yeah, you gotta know the truth, right? So basically, I used to work for this company that was shading kids who looked like us and said, I'm not about to do that. And we had my 11-year-old daughter who was 3 months old. I left a $500,000 job for $0.99, and we had negative $300,000 net worth. And everybody, my mom was over there too. She said I was crazy.
Right.
But we had to do it because we believed in something. You gotta get into something that you believe in, but don't follow your passion to poverty. You gotta make sure people will pay for it. So you follow your passion, but make sure it's profitable.
Was there a safety net in place at all?
Absolutely. So, and this is where the partnership comes in. I had my very stable corporate job. I could hold it down. That gave him the freedom to build. And it was a beautiful just partnership.
So the deal, here was the deal. She would buy it, and then I would pay it off. That was the job. Because she had the benefits, she had the credit, she had the income, and I got tranches of cash, large tranches. So we buy a house, she takes the debt, we pay the house off in 18 months.
Wow.
18 months?
Same thing. Wow.
It was a team. It was like, because I don't know where my next meal will come, especially early on in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So if you get $200,000, what can we pay off? If you get, you got that, because she had the stable income.
Right.
And I just couldn't even afford benefits. She was the benefits provider. You got to lean on your wife. She was the champion. She was the real MVP. Really need to know what is their desired outcome. And we hear all the time, every time I ask somebody, what's your desired outcome? Well, I want to make sure we create more of these. I'm like, no, what is your individual for you? Because at the end of the day, nobody have like, I created X number of shoes on their headscarves. And very rarely do entrepreneurs think about their desired outcome, like what is enough? Because everybody thinks they're going to be a billionaire.
Right.
But $10 million is a lot of money, $2 million is a lot of money, $100 million is a lot of money. But when you define your desired outcome, if you said, like for us, that was one of the things, that's where I got there much sooner than my wife I knew I wanted to be able to ride my bike and swim. And I knew that by the time I turned 45 years old, I didn't want to have to ever do anything. Ever. Didn't want to.
That was the desired outcome. So is there a number that you could put on that or no?
No, but I thought about the life that I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I got to the number that it cost, and then we tripled the number. So, but for real, it was like, so we got a fancy boat, we got a few houses, and I was like, okay, if I can do this, and I don't have to work, that's the desired outcome. And then you still gonna work if you choose to, but for the rest of your life, it's whatever you choose.
That is the definition of freedom. You're right.
I'm working hard because I like it. I love, for real, we built something that we care about. They're going through a suit because they believe in women of color. This is in this woman's DNA.
Yeah.
We built this, we invented DNA.
No, that's amazing.
Average $1,000 million exit. The average $1,000 million exit. The founders are getting 40 to 60 million. If you want 40 to 60 million dollars, you don't have to have a company that's worth $1 billion. You can have a company that's worth 40 to 60 million dollars, which means that revenue can be significantly less if you understand the multiples. So just put in perspective, you can have a $7 million business that's worth to you the same as a $150 or $1 billion business. Like you can have a business that's only doing $7 million in revenue and take home the same amount of money as somebody who sold a company for $1 billion.
And the reason is because if you have 100% equity ownership, that's how that math works. Because the average entrepreneur that has a true unicorn that's $1 billion company, they have so many people on the cap table. Right. They get diluted. So that's what he means when he says they're taking home, $40 million. The only other thing I would add is just what I shared before. It takes money to make money. So don't be afraid to invest in the resources and the experts that you need to counsel you through this process, because it's a long one. There are sleepless nights. And also make sure, if you are not a solo founder, that you are fully aligned on the exit strategy with your partners.
Yeah, I just always had that hustler's mentality. And I used football. I didn't let football use me, so.
Did y'all catch that? He used football. He didn't let football use him. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the transition. So transitioning from a successful football career to becoming a CEO, that's a significant change. And you talked about folks like LeBron and many others who have done that. But maybe share some key moments or experiences that inspired you to pursue entrepreneurship.
Well, to be honest, it started with my position. I think a quarterback is, in essence, a CEO in its own right. And not a lot of positions can relate, but by default, a quarterback is a leader. And I think that position forced me into learning how to manage egos. And I think now, being in corporate America, that that's the most essential thing. Is this past year, over the last couple of months, I've had to learn that I can't do this by myself, which means I have to hire proper people. My chief of staff, she's here, Ashe, having her as a person who I convinced to move to take on this role. A person who also is here with me, a good friend of mine. Well, he's not a friend, he's a business partner, Omari. A person who I got back from a corporate job to, and I say, come home, because it takes a village to run certain things efficiently and right. So being in my position, accountability with my partner, I believe accountability with my family. So if I'm assigning you to do a job, you don't do that. I'm just holding you accountable. I'm not complaining, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. It's me as the visionary or the person who's leading to say, this is your task. I'm entrusting you to do that task and making sure you see this task through.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because that accountability is so key. But not only that, it takes putting ego aside too to really let brilliant people come in and do what they do. And it sounds like you've been able to figure that out. Let's talk a little bit about perseverance and resilience, because both sports and entrepreneurship require both of those things. How have the skills and the mindset that you developed as a football quarterback prepare you to tackle all of the challenges and adversities that you face now as a CEO?
It's challenging at times, but I think being unique comes with its gifts and curses. As an adult or for a long time was shown to the public. Like Cam Newton gets released. What?
Yeah.
But I realized it's like, they don't need me like I think they needed me. The show must go on, So that started forcing me to think for myself to say, how can I provide enough value that you can't replace me. You just can't use me like a tampon. You feel me? Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, but it's when you start understanding your worth, it makes you go in a cave and you start saying like, nah, too many people can do it like that, so I gotta keep downloading. And it may be football, it may not be football, it may be business, it may not be business, but it's gonna take time. And too many people are expecting Thanksgiving meals in 30 seconds. Can't do that. I'm dropping some Eliantes right now. Slap in my big bag,
I love it. Once you believe it can happen, then you gotta do the work. You gotta work hard for it. And then you ultimately achieve it. And one of the challenges I think in our community is, especially as adults, and certainly even as young children, we stop dreaming. And what I love about what you've said is you continue to dream and you manifest those dreams. He said he's gonna be a billionaire. Y'all heard that, right? It's gonna happen. But how do you continue to inspire young people, adults, people from all walks of life to never stop dreaming?
I've evolved so much to the degree where I think everybody loves to quote the Bible, right? They say you have faith the size of a mustard seed, right? But they also forget that faith without work. Y'all smart, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to dream it, but you got to work your ass off too. You know what I'm saying? And I think that right there is essential. More essential too is evolving. Just because one door closed, that don't mean the next one gonna open. What if the other one closed too? That don't mean the next one gonna open either. Everybody just feels like their timing is when they expect it to be. It's like that's not how it works. Like, bro, I got locked up. You feel me? I was turned down. You know, I was behind. I was a backup before. I went to JUCO. You know, the success that I had is no other than God, because it's like, yo, y'all know me from Auburn, but that was just 365 days of, you know, what the world saw, but it was 20 years of just, God dang, God, what's up? Like, come on. You know, they've seen Cam now with this, but it's like, bro, what is Cam doing every single day? I'm up every single day trying to craft and evolve. And evolve and craft and like, it's just a constant churn, and nobody owes you nothing. So even with that being said, it's just like, man, you just gotta first off believe in yourself and believe in your vision, and it has to be so clear that no, appreciate it, big dog, thank you so much. That no, sweetheart, appreciate you, thank you so much. That no, oh man, mama, thank you, I needed that. That no, pop, man, for real, that's okay, that's all right, cool. That no, your sister, your brother, your home, it's not gonna move you off the mark. You know, because it's clear, and that's just the motivation. I've seen once or heard once that anything in life, it either uses you or you use it. And those no's, I used it to say, like, oh, cool. So going back to my first statement, I didn't let football use me. I use football.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Space and getting a lot of funding. And I said, I'm so confused. Why are you giving them all this funding when you told me this was not a VC backable category? Well, then when I looked up, all of those companies were putting debit cards into kids' hands, but they weren't teaching kids anything. And the truth of the matter is, I think that's kind of criminal. And the reason I think it's criminal is because that's what people have done to us for a long time. They have made money off the backs of black and brown consumers, but not giving black and brown consumers back anything in return, right? So, you know, if I ask how many of you have learned anything from your Venmo account, how many of your hands would be up? How many of you have learned anything from your Cash App account? How many of those hands would be up? No, because all of those companies have been started by the same archetypes. They're all started by white men. They're all started out of places, from places of, hey, we want to build billion-dollar companies, but they're not started from places of service and transformation. Goal Setter, when we started our family banking app, let me just give you an example. Our teen and tween debit card comes with a rule called learn before you burn. When a parent activates that rule, on Sunday morning, your kid's debit card will automatically freeze if they haven't taken their financial literacy quiz for the weekend. So we literally have kids showing up at their parents' tables talking about compound interest and the rule of 72, and these kids are 10 years old and 12 years old and 13 years old. And so that's the power of innovation through the lens of black women and women of color and women who have kids who they want to live in a different kind of world. And for any of you who have a teen and tween debit card, I'm just saying y'all may want to change, because those companies, they get all the funding, they pour all the marketing into our computers and our televisions, etc. So those are the only ones you know about. But then when you find out about black and women-owned companies, we are doing things differently, and we're doing things to change the world.
It's your responsibility to be helpful, to give back and pay it forward. To the little girl in the 4th grade in the old 4th ward on the new 4th floor in the front row, waiting to be told that there's something special in her mind. Something she would have never even searched to find if you hadn't showed up all glowed up in the front of her class, teaching her about assets she didn't know she could have, looking like one of her aunts or her uncle, her mom or her dad. And as you gaze into their eager faces, taking in these children's cheerful laughter, you think back on your path and the people in your life who were active and how you were impacted, and you remember just how much representation really matters. See, despite the crabs and the barrels and the meaningless chatter, there's always room to pull another friend up the ladder. You were made to shatter the glass ceiling. You are needed to shift the status quo, because how it's always been always got to go. We need go-getters and trendsetters, risk-takers, and tastemakers pouring their seasoning and flavor into this melting pot, concocted of a contributing community, organically organizing opportunities, creating commodity in our connectivity, turning our efforts into equity and electricity. There's so much power to be better when we are courageous and clever, when we endeavor to work together, besting the tested measures of pressure that it takes to make a diamond out of coal, to bust through the concrete so underneath the roads can grow, duplicate, multiply, diversify into an undeniable force.
For me, it was definitely coming up against this barrier around trust, and I would read these stories about people getting funded off the back of an idea written on a napkin or whatever it might be, and I was going through this fundraising process with, you know, a really big retailer in hand, and I thought, okay, once we get a contract from Sephora, then of course investors will invest in our company, but there was still so many hurdles to get over, and a big part of that was just, as you said, people, you know, not associating you with trust or believing that you can do something or believing what you're saying, because people trust what they know and they trust things that look like them, and so if you're in a room full of people who don't look like you, then it's harder for them to kind of consciously and subconsciously trust you. So that was definitely our biggest challenge.
Ashley, say, Ashley, can you introduce me to Arian? And she does it, and I suck. Arian's like mad at me, she doesn't even know me, but she's going to like not take anything else that Ashley brings to her. So if somebody's willing to make that warm intro, make sure you are ready, because you can kill a relationship and kill your opportunity. The investment space is actually really small. There's a lot more investors today, but the space itself is really small. So if you want that warm intro, make sure you're ready for that warm intro.
Trying to get in touch with people without a warm intro. I think people are more engaged on LinkedIn rather than email. Things just get filtered out really fast. And I've had a lot of luck on LinkedIn, so definitely LinkedIn. I think that one of the things that I tried to think about when I was fundraising and building rapport and building connections, which for me was a little tricky because I'm an international founder. So I was based in Australia and I was traveling back and forth and trying to build relationships with people, and that's really difficult to do when you're on the other side of the world, and this was pre-COVID, so it wasn't as common to be doing Zoom calls and things like that. So I think the thing that I thought about in those conversations, and when I would go into those rooms, or I would get an introduction, or I would do a bit of a top line pitch to someone, is think about the fact that who you're speaking to, if it is someone that doesn't look like you, doesn't have the same life experience as you, you're bringing so much to the table in terms of your life experience and what you know about consumers and your market and what you're doing. And people want to know, people want to be involved. At the end of the day, it's investors. They care about money. And so if you're bringing to the table an opportunity to make money that they're either not aware of or they don't have the expertise to be able to tap into, think about it like that. And the fact that you're bringing value to someone always goes a really, really long way, because you're sharing.
Human connection. What I do in the AI space is incredibly technical, and looking how I look, ultimately, I will always be, well, I don't want to say always, but I have experienced being questioned more often than not. And so the way to combat that is leaning onto your superpowers. And very early on in my life, I had to ask myself, what makes you stand out? When you go into conversations, when you build relationships, what makes you unique? And a very long time ago, when I was getting my degree in finance, I was competing with a lot of men who had access. I came into my finance 101 class thinking we were all going to learn about the stock market. Meanwhile, all these guys were like, oh yeah, like my dad owns the bank. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Started like, I have a bank account. I was like, we're not starting from the same line here. And so I knew that I wasn't ever going to be able to win on access, or I wasn't going to be, or maybe nepotism or family relationships in that sense. And I wasn't going to maybe win even being the one with the best grades. But what I had that others didn't have in that room was grit, adaptability, and that if I want something, I'm going to get it. No one will ever stop me. And so, thank you. So one thing that I often thought about in this fundraising journey was, how do I just establish a relationship? We all have commonalities, and when we go into rooms, think about what are the goals of that investor? What makes them tick? What do they like to do? How do they like to communicate? And something that I've done is really think about every single one of my investors and how do they communicate. And so one of them, he really likes to go for walks, talk while we're like sprinting, and then we eat tacos. Like, that's just something that he likes to do. It makes him feel calm. And so if I have to do that, I'm going to adapt my communication style, not show him a Gantt chart like I would show someone else, and just, talk and eat shrimp tacos. So again, it's a human connection. Find out what makes you special, and remember that we're all humans. We're just here to have a conversation. Undeniably good, you're making that person have to say yes to you. And if they say no, they're just not a very good investor. So, and everything that you do, just be excellent.
I love that. Does anyone have any was first I'm horrible at work-life balance. But for me, it was understanding that I had a price to pay to do what I wanted to do in life. So if you would have asked me at 15, I was like, by 25, I'm married with 7 kids. And I did own 7 kids, which sounds crazy now. But when I started my first company, I was in college. And I had to sit with myself and say, if I'm going to be married with 7 kids at 25, my baby's going to be a human, and it's not going to be my company. I'm not saying that eventually you can't do both. As Oprah says, you can have it all, just not all at once. And so I had to sit with myself and say, the price I'm going to pay is to pause the life of a wife and a mother so that I'm a mother to this startup, this baby that I want to have. And I knew when I could look at myself in the mirror and be okay with the price I had to pay, then I was good to be an entrepreneur. But that was for me what I had to do. You got everything you do in life comes at a price, but you got to make sure you're willing to pay that price.
Yeah.
That's good, girl. Yeah.
For me, it was definitely a thought adjustment around one, knowing that I think it's 2% of venture funds go to female-founded companies, and you can maybe look at that statistic and go, it's impossible. And if we all thought that way, then none of us would go out and pitch and try to raise money. And so you kind of I had to get over that leap first and assume that I could raise money and kind of ask yourself, why can't you be the 2%? It's not 0%, so some founders are getting money, why can't that be you? Obviously we want it to be much, much higher than that, but you have to believe that you can be part of that portion that gets funding in order to have the confidence to go out and actually try to raise. And then I think the second thing is releasing my mind from the idea that I'm begging investors for something and reframing it as me giving investors an opportunity to come forward. And once you are able to kind of make that adjustment, you walk into a room with so much more confidence because you've kind of flipped the tables a little bit, even if it's only in your own mind. But that's, half of the battle. And then what I'm still trying to overcome now is really just like that next phase. Okay, 60% of businesses fail, right? And so you get to this point and you're like, okay, no, we have to keep going. And why can't we be the 40% that doesn't? Why can't we be the 10% that gets to X point? How can we be the 5% that gets to this point? So it's really just like raising the stakes at every level and being able to overcome the thoughts in your mind about what you're capable of. I don't think that changes. It's just the capabilities that change, right? It's always trying to overcome this idea about what you're capable of, but at different levels.
Anything else we have? 24 seconds.
Sure. Yeah. I would say that something that I'm still working on around the belief system is how can you be aggressive and go for the things that you want and be, so determined while letting go and understanding that fine balance of some things are just not meant for you at that exact time, and just trusting the process. A lot of it is listening to yourself and listening to the situation at hand. It's really hard to do, and so definitely not perfect, and every day I'm just trying to figure out what is that balance. Do I go, full front for that goal? Do I stop? Do I let it go? And so still trying to figure it out.
Blessed people have issues. In fact, the more you build and the more blessed you are, the bigger your issues. Did you know that? I think Biggie put it like this: more money, more problems. And so I wanted to be a bit vulnerable with you, and I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm trying to figure out. But if I'm honest with you, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's a fight. And we know how to build businesses. We know how to create revenue models. We know how to build brands. We know how to build teams. We know how to lead. We were good with instincts. We understand timing. We know how to spot a good idea. We know how to convert opportunities. We know how to do all of that. We're well versed in winning, and yet we still, all of us, every successful person has this particular struggle. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a big deal. This struggle that we're going to talk about today is a really big deal. In fact, it's an existential threat to your life. Did you know that being blessed and prospering and having all these opportunities, the opportunities that you pray for, if you don't win this particular battle, it can cost you everything. Isn't that crazy? And you know what it is? You know what we're going to talk about today? It's about understanding that you are an economy. There's some people in here right now, and you may even have an economics degree, or you may have studied economics or read economic books, but you've probably never considered that you yourself are an economy. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to speak with in order to make your life profitable. That's why you don't have to see some people struggle if they don't have the funding or if they don't have the finances, because they don't recognize that they themselves are an economy. And God gives resource to us, and I'll talk about what those resources are. He gives us resource that we're supposed to steward well and trade with, and I'm not even talking about money in this instance. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about focus. I'm talking about your energy. And even your creativity. This is in your economy. These are the resources in your economy. And if you're going to be good economists of self, you have to manage it well. That's why I love that definition. Careful management of available resources. That word available is one to pay attention to. Because available resources means that our resources are actually limited resources. I was struggling with balance. I wrote a book called Balance. I think that would be a great resource for you if you're trying to get it. But I was struggling with balance, and as a result of it, and what it looks like for me, when I know that I have overspent in my economy, I've overspent resources, there are a few things that happen to me. The first thing that happens to me is that my thought life declines. Come on, somebody. It's hard to be positive. My vision seems to only be so far. Typically on a normal day, I can see years and years down the road. I can look into my circumstance and look into the circumstances of others and see all sorts of things. I'm unlimited in vision and creativity, but when I am overspent, so you got to know the sides. when I've overspent all of it that did something to me. Now I'm like, Lord, do you want me to retire? You know, and he was like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. But I want you to understand the principle of retiring. This is important. If you don't get anything else, you got to take this. He said, think about that word retire. What do you see when you see that word? And I see two words. I see re and I see tire. And he says, son, I want you to rethink what you allow to tire you. In other words, I need you to rethink what you are investing your resources into. And it changed my life. So I want to give you a few things. I got to land this plane real quick. I want to give you a few things that I think will keep you in the rhythm of managing your resources, managing the economy of self. Number one, first of all, you need to clearly define what it takes for you to become your best self and have strong reserves. Write that down. This necessitates you learning who you are. Self-awareness is everything. There's another level to self-awareness, and that's soul-awareness, but I don't have time to teach that. To thine own self be true. Jesus said that. No, Shakespeare said that. But you can't be true to a you that you don't know. And so you have to decide, what is it? For me, it's Newport Beach. For me, it's riding motorcycles. You have to figure out and clearly define what it takes for you to become your best self and to build strong reserves. In other words, you can't be spending to the full. You have to have some left over. Number two, you have to create a rhythm that hits on those things. So I've clearly defined what it takes for me to be myself and to build strong reserves so I'm not running on empty. And two, I have to create a rhythm that hits on those things, and I have to then work my life around it. Did you hear me? I have some crazy rules. No meetings, literally no meetings before 12 o'clock every day. I can meditate, I can pray, set up the rules, and then work your life around it and trust that if you take care of you, you will take care of you. You'll catch that on the way home. Number three, fiercely guard the borders of your economy. Once you set up what your economy is, the same way you protect your money, protect the economy of self. Say no. The power of no is a powerful chapter in the book Balance. You gotta read it. And then number four, quickly come back to basics when life starts telling you that you've overspent. Don't just keep spending. And so, as I close, I want us to make some promises to ourselves. And if you're honest, and you're here and you've been neglecting yourself and you know it, you have just been you've been sacrificing you for your vision and your goal. Just stand up real quick. You've been so after your vision and so after your goal, but you realize you've been sacrificing for yourself. Make to ourselves, I want you to repeat after me. I will never mismanage you again. Come on. I will never neglect you again. You're talking to yourself. Come on. I will never ignore the signs and the signals you send my way to get me to change. I will no longer sacrifice you to achieve my goals. I'm going to take care of you, and you're going to take care of me. God bless you. I love you.
I'm going to go picture myself. I'm going to show up in these meetings, and I am going to go pursue this. So in your experience, what roles do you, I would say, play in your continual learning as far as just your personal growth, your personal development?
It's interesting because that was really difficult going into rooms, trying to put together a business deck. I didn't know how to do that. It started as like a scrapbook of ideas with a lot of words and imagery, and then I kept putting that in front of people, and people kept telling me everything that's wrong with it or everything that needs to change about it. And I did that for about 3.5 years until I honed this like 100-page scrapbook filled with 1 million ideas and consolidated it into a 10-page
pretty concise idea that I pitched. At the time, the hot thing was a subscription business model, and I knew I wanted to be direct to consumer, and I knew I wanted to create a brand that really stands for transparency and ethics and values, that really cares about health and wellness, the people and the planet. And I was going up against businesses that have been around for over 100 years. And everyone told me I was nuts and there was no way I was A, qualified, or B, it was ever going to happen. So it was about 3.5 years of me investing a lot of time, tears, not a lot of sleep. I had a new baby. I was pregnant with my second right before when I actually raised my A series, or actually my seed funding. And I just hustled and figured it out, and figured out how to turn those no's into a bunch of yeses. And it was not easy. It was very humbling, but I learned a lot about my perseverance. I learned a lot about listening to my gut and that voice when I was 11 years old that told me that I had a purpose and a reason to be here and that I mattered. Same voice to my 27-year-old, 28-year-old, 29-year-old, and then 30-year-old when I launched the business. I had to listen to that same light, that inner voice, because I knew this business needed to exist. I knew that it wasn't fair and it wasn't right that people are being poisoned. And especially people in the Black and brown communities, we are affected more than anyone else when it comes to exposure to toxic chemicals. And I was like, the government's obviously not going to step up and do anything about it as long as they can make money off of it. And so I, as an entrepreneur, I can do something about it.
Yes. And how did you make them align with your career choices?
My true passion and purpose. You know, I think that it was a combination of getting through a lot of hard times and having to find what, God bless you, having to find what really brings me joy, or where I saw the light in my life and where I saw the light in myself when no one else did. And it actually, for me, it started when I was really young. I was 11 when I really actively pursued entertainment and acting. And yeah, just like really trying to find my voice. And my family was tough. I have a lot of stars in my family. They are all main characters. And just even getting in a word is tough. They all sing, they all dance, they all act. They all have 5 other jobs as well. They're all doing the most. And, you know, I'm not a naturally extrovert. I'm an introvert. And so for me, I found my space in actually playing other characters and being someone else. I was also really sick as a kid, and I think going through a childhood where I was in the hospital a lot, and I was weird. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I think also just feeling isolated because I didn't have a ton of friends growing up, and I was kind of a weirdo. I had to find wherever my joy was in my life, but I've always talked to God. I used to see angels when I was little, and I always knew that I had a purpose. And I prayed a lot that if I could be successful, I was going to do something good with that platform, and I was going to help people. Flow, and it's just humanity, right? They're trained to play their role as they are, and so you just kind of have to like go with it and figure out how to work with it and not work against it every time, because being a warrior every day is exhausting, and you have to, right? It's exhausting. And sometimes we don't need to fight every day. Sometimes we can do it with kindness, we can do it with the velvet glove, and sometimes who cares how you get to the answer? So the guy thinks it's his idea. Awesome. You still got that money? The check cleared. Great.
Y'all, how powerful was the Fearless Fund in the Black in Commerce? Come on, tell me. Man, it was literally so powerful. I felt not only empowered, but I feel like it's possible. Like, wow. And it's only day one. I'm not going to Black e-commerce tomorrow because I'm going to go back to Fearless Fund. We was out there passing out So.Fvshionable cards, like, and I got into this program today, I found out. So it's been a good day, y'all. Man, I'm going to go back and replay. Emma agreed. I said this once, I said this twice. I know you're gonna come back and watch these vlogs one day when I am on Fortune 500 Most Powerful Women. That I said Emma agreed was gonna be my mentor, but like I stand by that. Man, she just is she's a force to be reckoned with and is everything that I want to be. Okay, and she's worth 400 million. So yeah. Okay, so me and Evan are about to go to this candle symphony. And honestly, actually, it's funny. So when I was looking online, they have their kind of DC too, and I didn't even realize it was the same thing that me and Evan were going to. I was like, oh, this is a good idea. I seen somebody on TikTok, but I'm gonna go to DC one because I'm going to this one here. Perfect. So yeah, we're about to get ready to go. Okay. Let me show you my outfit real quick. Mini skirt, crop top, and I got sandals on, y'all, because why would I not wear sandals? It's no reason to wear heels. Okay, we're running late, and hopefully we can get some food on the way. It's at the Fever Presents Candlelight Concert, where they play instruments of different songs, and it was Neo Soul night. So they play a bunch of Neo Soul songs. Now, y'all, you can't record when you're there, okay? So that's why half the videos, y'all, it was on me. You can hear it, so you have to listen, play it back, and listen to it. You're only allowed to like record the last like song or two. So it was good though, right? I liked it. I'll go again. They had Beyonce night in DC. Hey, you guys. Yesterday got cut off when I was talking. My camera died, but we're back and we are going to brunch. So I was gonna go to day 2 of Fearless, but I ended up not going because it was just pitch competitions, and I'd rather spend the day with Evan because it's my last full day here before I go home to get to work. So we're going to brunch. Y'all like my shades? These are from Target. They're so cute. I'm like obsessed with them. When I seen them, I was like, oh, I gotta get them. So, and my outfit looks so cute, y'all. Okay, you can't. I'm gonna have to take a video so when we get back to the house so you can see my outfit. But yeah, so we're on our way to brunch. I'm in Atlanta, the ATL. Okay, who did that and why? All right, y'all. Let's go to brunch. Let's go to brunch. We'll be looking. It's a nice area. We're going to Saints and Castle?
Council.
Oh, Saints and Council. Council. I can't say council now. Say castle. Saints and Council is where we're going. Okay, I just want to show y'all my outfit. I told y'all I'm like trying to be more, you know, just getting dressed up everywhere I go. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. It's hot, y'all. So my edges are already sweating, but what y'all think? Rate my outfit from 1 to 5. It's a 5, I know. Okay, let's go eat it. Okay, that's here and the drinks have appeared.
Thanks for your
Thank you. Yes, okay, now we can eat. We're just getting our pictures, of course, y'all. Y'all, brunch was so good. Me and Evan's food was so yummy. Didn't even finish all of it. But we were at Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's. Really so I can get her fresh flowers. And I just want to be outside and walk because it's such a nice day. Atlanta air. How nice. And it's packed in this bit. It's so packed. Yeah, no, I love Trader Joe's.
I used to be at Brewster's ice cream.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So I've been looking for this, and like every Maryland one always is sold out of banana pudding. But look, I got the last one. Evan's picking some beautiful flowers. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to try it. Everyone always raving about it. Yes, my lucky day, you guys. That means something good is gonna happen to me. Can't wait to see what it is. Yay. Guys, we're getting ready to go to dinner. We just took some time and was chilling at Evan's apartment. Evan is dog sitting. Her sister's dog tucks off. Poor Tuck. Look at him. He wants to come back up, but we gotta go, Tuck. So see you later. Y'all, we're about to get ready to go to dinner. Cause it's a girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Here goes Evan. Girl dinner. Okay, Evan, let's go. Girl dinner. And then I didn't even show you the products I got, y'all. They gave out full-size Shea Moisture at Fearless Fun. So many products. I have so much product. I have so much product. Ew. And then Evan made me this nice cup. And this is also more stuff I got from Fearless Fun. Oh my gosh, there was so much stuff, y'all. So much free full-size products. I'm hurt. I brought a carry-on, so I can't even bring none of this. So hurt. Evan gets to get all these goodies. So many full-size items. Like what? Okay, y'all, we're at the restaurant called Two Urban Licks. Evan has been here. Let's see if it's good.
One of my favorite restaurants.
Is it really?
Autumn likes it. I came here for my birthday 2 years ago.
So let's see if it's good. It's really nice ambiance, y'all. Our starters, the salmon chips. These look so good. I'm gonna try one now. Okay. obsessed with tuna, y'all. But now I can't stop saying everything is tuna. This salmon though, look at this. It's really good. Now I don't even like salmon for real. Y'all, me and Evan's food is here. Oh, we're about to be stuffed. Like actually stuffed. Close to the game that man. She said she wants some mussels with bread and mac and cheese. Oh, they're here to play. And we were full from them sandwiches, so let's see. Y'all know I came for the mac and cheese. You know what type of girl I am. Mac and cheese is me. Y'all, the food was so good. And then like I had a little bit of a complaint about my food because it was still a little pink. Not only did they take it back, they gave me a new one extra burnt. And it was so good. So y'all need to go there if you're ever in Atlanta. Me and Evan are just enjoying the vibes because everyone is out and walking because it is sunny outside and this little boy is staring at me and I'm trying to understand why. Please. Anyways though, I'm about to get on these scooters. Why not? It's summer. It's the last week of summer before everyone has to go back to their jobs, so why not? It's so nice that people are just out here just walking and vibing. What's the belt line?
Just the belt line where people walk.
Oh, that's it? When I think belt line, I usually think of trains. That's nice.
Maybe I used to come running down here.
It's really a nice area. Just vibing. And they got the nerve to have little street lights right here.
Today, sunlight, I wanna rock with you all night, rock the night away. I wanna rock with you, girl, all night.
Hot City, y'all. Walking around. We have walked, and it has led us here. Very cool. This is so nice. Very nice, very cool. I love coffee table books. I actually just said I wanted to get the Rihanna book and look, it's here. I cannot fit it in my book bag. I mean, in my suitcase to go home. Very cool. And I actually have this sold out in my Amazon cart. Wow. Very cool. Artsy store. I like it. And they have a bunch of little shops in here. God is Dope is right there. Cool. So I'm getting a custom keychain, y'all. We came to...
I'm going to shoot y'all an email.
Brad and Young. I'm going to get a custom So.Fvshionable
Yeah, all of them, we're getting an email. Hey, thank you.
You know my custom keychain.
Did you write it down, Anna?
Yeah.
I
I am. This is so cool.
No photos, please.
No, okay. No photos.
I'm just kidding.
I just so cool. I get the experience.
Thank you. She's awesome.
That's true.
How cute is this, y'all? Oh my goodness, a nice little caviar. See, I know So.Fvshionable is always with me. Like, don't play with him. Don't play with him. Don't play with him. Okay, I can pull it out. Let's look at it. Oh. It looks so cute. Okay, there it is. It had to be focused. Oh. Y'all, me and Evan had such a good time on my last night here, walking around the restaurants, just having the vibe of the city. And I'm so glad that I came to Atlanta. I'm so glad I went to the Fearless Fun event, went to the Black e-commerce event. This wine is so good, y'all. And honestly, if I took anything away from this weekend, it's be excellent. And to be excellent in every field of my life right now, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. how you do anything is how you do everything. And I want to be great. And I believe that I have everything it takes to be great. So it's just time to show up and be great. So this is my last vlog until probably sometime in September. I'm gonna go be great. I'm gonna go work on my business. Y'all know where to find me. Watch my videos on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at AUTELLISON or Ellison. And let's see what magic we can make for So Fashionable. I'm very excited about what's to come, and I'm ready to do. It's like sprint season for me, y'all. I don't know if you ever seen a TikTok about how like he was like, it's sprint season. It's like you just dedicate your everything and anything to being that, whatever that is, right? And the guy gave the example how he's in law school trying to get ready for law school, and he was just sprinting. Like he disappeared, did what he had to do, and like that's me. Like this is my sprint season. Like I'm sprinting from September to December. So I'll probably, you know what I'm saying, be consistent when New Year starts, but because we're sprinting for So Fashionable. It's sprint season, I'm running it up, for real. So I hope that you enjoyed my Atlanta vlog. I hope that you are inspired. I hope that you attend Fearless Fun. And Fearless Fun right now is going through a federal lawsuit with this conservative group that believes that a capital venture fund for women of color should be illegal. So join the fight. They have a petition you can donate, because it's always an attack on women who want better for themselves and want to start things. So we just gonna join the fight. Go to fearlessfreedom.org and support the cause. Alright y'all, I'll see y'all soon. Until then, watch all my other vlogs, and I hope that you enjoyed this one. Cheers to what comes next.